Now it would remind for me. Well, everything is okay. Well, Salam Habibi, how are you all? I hope you are fine. It's me, Michael Cesare Santa, and welcome you to our favorite channels, Afghan Jelebi Michael Cesare Santa. As a title, you get the correct understand that we are roasting Almas Jacob in the same topic that we have roasted her in the previous life. Well, this is, and now I have said that this will be the second life to roast Almas Jacob. And here is the point that I would keep my promise as well as, but probably it would not be possible for long times because perhaps in the lack of internet it would be 30 minutes live streams in here. You see that? Well, and now here is the point that can we know the black magic? Well, in Prophet we have talked about, okay. Well, we have talked about the era when there was a Khulafa Rashidin in the Islamic Sultanate. And what was the Sultanate? The Sultanate name is Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Umar bin Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Usman Ghani radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu. In that times, perhaps here is some rumor that black magic would exist. Somebody says, but well, the event of black magic is recorded in before 16th century, before 17th century. As you can see, when Hazrat Khalifa Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu died, he died on 661 AD. Well, and now here we can see black magic was completely at the peak. In that time, every event of black magic has been recorded. Well, until when 1642, the calendar 1642 has not come. Well, 1042 subtract by 61, 1041 subtract 60, that means 980. Well, after the death of Khalifa Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and then after 980, 980 years has been passed, and then here was some event was happened, and the event was that, Sir Isaac Newton has been born in England. Okay. Perhaps he born in Oxford or in the nearest village in Oxford University. Well, and magic event recording has been decreased years by years. And in 1947, well, we can say uh, almost black magic event recording has been uh, almost deleted from 1947. The- there was impossible to record a black magic, but still, well, now and in the era of internet, well, black magic does not exist. Even the magic does not exist. Every magic shown to us contains the science in behind. But well, okay, and now I have said something like that. Well, now it's a proper time that I would explain what's happened in the points. Let's get started.
Sarcastically to the genie crane, saying, "The situation is strange. You
It was the well, it was the points duration 1 hour 1 minute 49 seconds where uh, we have recorded almost 1 hour of roasting live stream, and now let me see if we can have a recorded for even 20 minutes or not. Let's in clear.
wake up and realize the jinns of Karj have been
Oh,
defeated by the jinns of Tel Aviv."
okay. And now, well, here we can see. Well, here our now today's point is has been started now. Let's see.
यानी कि ईरान के जो जिन हैं वो हार गए हैं टेल अवीव के जिन से। मजीद अगर आप यहाँ पर पढ़े तो other social media users have questioned the logic behind the narrative of supernatural warfare, asking why Afghan immigrants are being deported on espionage charges if jinns are the real security threat.
Okay. Now here is my questions that other social media user have a question in the logic behind the nature of super well the narrative of super narrative natural warfare. Well, then there is a question that why Afghan immigrants are being deported on espionage charge in the gene are real security threat, or why Colberts are executed when supernatural forces are reportedly infiltrating the countries. Okay. Now here, okay. Now here we can say, well, as a here is our today's points. Okay. Now we can say what is our today's points. Let me see. Just 2 minutes. Well. Uh, well, here is the case. Well, now today's here we can have the today's point is when supernatural warfare is real, then why Afghan immigrants are being well deported in the charge of gene black magics for the national threats. Well, here is the parts. But actually, the reality is a total opposite than Alma Jacob can think. Well, now let me see. Well, now let me see what is the reality. Well, reality is that I can brought it. Okay. Now let me see what is the reality. It is well, you can see here is the religious geopolitical game. Well, every game is religious geopoliticals. Now let me see what is effects of religious geopolitical. Okay. In the points is that communist American country before 1978. Here was the points. Now we can see I am preparing to sleep on night moods. Okay. Before the proper sleep, we can say before 1978 there is a positive diplomatic relations between Iran and United States of America. Well, even in that times, before 1978, just 2 minutes, we can say, well, before 1978, there was several calendar. Okay. There was a several calendar where Iran supports Israel in almost everywhere. Well, in 1947, United States government and Israel, both of them supports Iran to establish a nuclear project. Well, in the calendar of 2025, Iranian nuclear project is the largest national threat, even largest national security threat, even both for China, Russia, North Korea, Venezuela, and Cuba. Well, and now in the Islamic Iran regime, in the era of Islamic Iran, Israel and America are enemy of Iran and in the points. But before 1978, well, Iranian nuclear project was a peaceful project for the world. And in that times, you can say that Iranian nuclear, if Iranian government, I mean Raja Pahlavi government, wants to generate any nuclear weapon, there was the support from Iran. There is was the support from United States of America and Israel. Okay. Uh, Now, in that times, England, France, and Germany was still supporting Iranian nuclear weapons. Okay, uh, and you can see that. But in that time, there was a nationalist government in England, both from left-wing government or right-wing government. There was nationalist government in England. Well, in Kir, there was no government in England from 1947 to 1978, where the president was like a Keir Starmer. Well, now let me see. If in that Raja Pahlavi period, if Iran would contain nuclear weapons, there is a clean-check support from Israel and America. Well, in that times, it was still the threat for Russia, communist Russia. But the reason of the threat was different from now. In Iranian Islamic regime, Iranian nuclear weapon is a larger national threat, larger threat for the national security of Russia. But before the calendar of 1978, Iranian nuclear project was a larger threat for communist Russia, but the reason was that communist Russia could not have any influence on Iran. Well, communist Russia want to have influence on Iran by the hook and by the crook. Well, before the Afghanistan Soviet, before the war of Afghanistan Soviet war, here was a point when Afghanistan was under control of communist Russia, Soviet Russia. But at the time that Iran was an independent country, it was not under the control of Soviet Russia. In the point that, now I am not a diplomat girl. If in the period of Raja Pahlavi, I can wear hijab niqab, to hide my face for the privacy in the normal, ordinary public place. I can wear t-shirt and pants. Now I am wearing trouser at my home. I can wear in the that times Iranian women wears almost like every Western dress code. That means sleeveless shirt, leather jackets, and jeans, curly hair, cosmetics, makeup. That was and normal in Raja Iran under Raja Pahlavi regime. Well, in that time, well, Iranian was educated. Well, now you can see. Okay, just for 2 minutes. I would like to close the points fan, ceiling fan. I would like to close the ceiling fans. Okay, here would be the points. Now let me see. Okay. Well, in here, now it is the Iran in the calendar of 2025. And here it is written that other social media use have questions the logic behind the narrative of supernatural warfare. Well, there was a supernatural warfare, I mean the black magic warfares, where black magical power of Iran has been defeated by black magic of Tel Aviv. Okay. It is Iran in the calendar of 2025. Well, even Afghan immigrants are being deported on espionage charges in the black magic security threats. Well, but now I would like to see what was what was Iran in Raja Pahlavi regime. Okay. Just for 2 minutes. Okay. Here we can say Raja Pahlavi Iranian regime. It is the education. It was the education of Raja Pahlavi Iranian regimes. Oh, okay. Now the fact is that is the fact of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu military technology. But the military technology of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was the military educations of Raja Pahlavi Iran. Okay. Well, here we can say, and now you can see that that was the major difference between Raja Pahlavi Iran and Ali Khomeini Iran. Well, now let me say that clearly in the different points of Raja Pahlavi Iran educations versus military educations versus Ali Khomeini military educations, Iranian military educations. Well, okay. Now you can see that just for 2 minutes. Well, now you can see here is the first difference. And now let me clearly the first difference between Raja Pahlavi military educations versus Ali Khomeini military educations. Well, in Raja Pahlavi military educations, well, it was clear that every every military soldiers want to live in the era in the present their present calendars under Raja Pahlavi. Well, and now here we can see well, and the era was like that. Well, every Iranian soldiers under Raja Pahlavi want to have a military vehicle with a velocity of 72% velocity of light. Well, and what was why they would need a why they need as a necessary? Well, I would like to tell you, but firstly, and once here is my research paper. Would be the points. Well, distance. Okay, and now well, Tehran, Iran's, and here is Tehran, Iran, and now we can see Moscow, Russia. Okay, here is Tehran, Iran, and Moscow, Russia. Well, well now I can explain. Well, here is the distance between Tehran, Iran, and Moscow, Russia. Well, the actual distance is 2,463 kilometer 940 meters. On the other side is that here is the flying routes. Okay. Well, flying route is now here. Okay, it is the flying routes that is well, flying routes is also the same points. It is not different stills. Well, that is 2,463 kilometers 940 meters. Okay. Well, and now here is we can see. I would like to say properly. Okay. And here we can see. Well. In Raja Pahlavi periods, well, Iranian soldiers actually calculate if Soviet Russia was to attack our sovereignty of Iran under Raja Pahlavi, then how can we have a counter attack on Moscow, Russia? Here is was the calculations, and as a calculation, it is that clear that well, yeah, in the velocity, Iranian soldiers under Raja Pahlavi could travel with the departure of Tehran, Iran, and arrival of Moscow, Russia, in the travel time of 5 milliseconds. Well, In that points, uh, well, 10 milliseconds would not be covered, but we can reach in that points. It was look like a teleportation technologies in the short range, and in okay, well, in that times here we can see the military plane, fighter plane under Raja Pahlavi can do this. And in that points, the kinetic power of military plane, fighter planes under Raja Pahlavi was look like 16 quintillion as a nuclear power. Iranian soldiers under Raja Pahlavi could calculate the kinetic power according with the knowledge of physics. And here, that was the knowledge of physics. Here is the different. That was the education of the Iranian soldiers under Raja Pahlavi. Well, in that times, well, if there was a probability, now let me tell you the hypothetical points. Well, Israel is now a threat, national threat of the national security of Iran under Raja Pahlavi. Still, well, Raja Pahlavi Iranian military education was so powerful that the Iranian soldiers under Raja Pahlavi calculated that, well, if we have to counter attack on Israel, well, we have to condense a kinetic power of 11 quintillions. Well, here is the parts. That was the education of Iranian soldiers under Raja Pahlavi. And now we can see the Iranian terrorist educations under Supreme Leader, religious Supreme Imam Ali Khomeini. Now here we can check that what is the education in Iranian terrorists. The education is that, well, Iran contains black magic warfare against Israel, but Israel believes black magic is so powerful that Iranian black magic have to be defeated in the parts. Have to be defeated. Well, this is the weakness of Iranian terrorist education under Supreme Imam Ali Khomeini. Well, here is the points. Well, after the regime change in Iran, well, you see now what is the Iranian education, military terrorist education under Ali Khomeini? You can see that. Okay, and still you can see that. Well, you can still Muhammad Ibrahim Fakhrizadeh, a nuclear scientist, has been denied by Ali Khomeini. Now you can see what is the destruction of Iranian terrorist educations. What is the destructions? Okay. Now here was a question that why Afghan immigrants are deported on espionage charge espionage charge under Iran. Well, espionage charge under Ali Khomeini Iran's just because of black magic espionage. Okay. Well, here was the questions. Well, now I have to say what was happened in Afghanistan. Well, in 1991, after Soviet Russia has been defeated by Afghan Taliban. Well, Afghan Taliban is ruling the Afghanistan. Well, still that Afghan ruling Taliban's Afghanistan terrorists, that means Afghan Taliban government was controlled by Pakistan and controlled by Pakistan. Well, India, it is also a communist government, but point is that well, Russian communist is out and Pakistani communist is in Afghanistan as the mask of Taliban government. Well, but still, well, from the calendar of 1991 to 2001, well, Afghanistan was neither the influence of Russia nor the influence of United States of America. Well, and now in 2001, the calendar of 2001 or the calendar of 2002, well, Afghanistan is under the influence of United States of America. Okay. Well, you can see that from 2001 to from 2002 to 2022, well, there was 20 years where Afghanistan has a proper education. Well, as Afghanistan has a proper education is like that. Well, still Afghanistan is a Muslim country. Perhaps in that 20 years, out of Taliban government, out of Taliban terrorism, Afghanistan would still consider Israel as an enemy. And now, if Afghan, well, intelligence agency, like after Afghan National Intelligence Department, would have a report that now Israel is a national security threat for us. Well, as a counter attack, what is our military vehicle kinetic power? We can check accordance with rules of physics science. Well, in that times, uh, in that times, we don't need to we don't need to study about black magic anymore. Well, perhaps black magic would exist, but in this time we do not need any black magic. Okay. After 2022, when Taliban was back as a government of Afghanistan, still now here is 3 years, and the present today is the calendar of 2025 as a live streaming. Today is the calendar of 2025, and now you can see and still Afghan education has been massive destructions. Well, Afghan education has contains massive destruction, but still, well, as we can consider a foreign country as our national security threat, for counter the foreign country as a national security threat, well, we can measure or what would be our national military kinetic power. Well, and now still we can believe that this time Afghan terrorists are more educated. Well, simply educated that they can calculate the basic level of computer science or basic level of physics to calculate the kinetic power. Well, here is the points. Well, from 2002 to 2025, Afghanistan is still in the position that, still in the mindset that they can calculate what can be the kinetic power of our national military, even if we have a foreign countries as our national security threat. But what about Iran? In the regime of Ali Khamenei, now Iran is going to discussion about black magic warfare against Israel. And here we can see that is the greatest threat for us we can perceive. And now we can see what would our points. Okay. And now, well, here is the points. Let me check.
For why Coal bars are executed when supernatural forces are reportedly infiltrating the country. जिसका सीधा सीधा मतलब ये है कि लोग ये सवाल उठा रहे हैं कि अगर जिन्नात असल सिक्योरिटी थ्रेट हैं ईरान के लिए, तो फिर अफगानी लोग जो हैं उनको क्यों निकाला जा रहा है अपने मुल्क से। और उनके ऊपर इल्ज़ाम ये है कि ये इसराइल के लिए ईरान में जासूसी कर रहे थे। और अगर आप गौर करें तो जो इसराइली जासूस इन्होंने ईरान में पकड़े हैं उनको क्यों कत्ल किया जा रहा है।
Okay. Now
तो इस सवाल का जवाब मैं आगे चलकर आपको देता हूँ, लेकिन उससे पहले एक हकीकत मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ और आपको याद दिलाना चाहता हूँ। मैं बहुत पहले से आपको एक बात कहता आ रहा हूँ, शायद आपको याद आ गई हो, कि जादूगरी का वही लेवल जो मिस्र में हुआ करता था, अब वो लेवल वापस आ गया है। लाया नहीं जा रहा है बल्कि अब आ चुका है। आप नोट करें कि एक मुल्क के ऑफिशियल्स खुलकर इसके ऊपर बात कर रहे हैं कि इसराइल ने इनके खिलाफ जन्नात और जादूगरी का इस्तेमाल किया है। अब इसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि इसराइल के अंदर कबाला जादू किया जाता है, जो कि वर्ल्ड का स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट जादू माना जाता है। और इसमें भी कोई शक नहीं है कि ईरान के अपने ऑफिशियल्स जो हैं, जो इनकी हुकूमत में लोग हैं, वो भी जन्नात से मदद लेते रहे हैं। अगर आप नीचे यहाँ पर इस आर्टिकल में पढ़े तो मैं यहाँ पर आपको पढ़ाना चाहता हूँ कुछ, और इससे आपको अंदाजा लग जाएगा कि ईरान ऑलरेडी ये सब कुछ कर रहा था। द पेज claimed that security agencies subsequently summoned and interrogated experienced incantation writers. Incantation writer उनको बोला जाता है जो तलिस्मन लिखते हैं, जो तावीज लिखते हैं, उनको बुलाया गया, जादूगरों को बुलाया गया। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चनिंग their possible role in creating the talismans, यानी कि क्या तुम लोगों ने ये बनाए हैं, and then seeking their assistance in identifying and neutralizing the incantations, यानी कि पहले इन्होंने उनके ऊपर ही शक किया कि क्या तुम लोग ही तो नहीं हो जो ये बना रहे हो हमारे खिलाफ। फिर बाद में उनसे हेल्प ली गई कि अब इसको न्यूट्रलाइज कैसे करना है, यानी कि जादूगरों से फिर मदद ली गई कि इस जादू का असर खत्म किया जाए। तो ये आर्टिकल कह रहा है, बट मैं आप एक चीज बताना चाहता हूँ कि ईरान की जो फौज है उसके अंदर एक ग्रुप है जिसको अल रूहानिया कहा जाता है। अल रूहानिया करके उसका नाम है। और आप नोट करें कि वो ग्रुप का मकसद ही ये है कि साइकिक, ये जितने लोग हैं इनको आजकल नया नाम दे दिया गया जादूगरों को, साइकिक, जो मीडियम्स होते हैं, जो जिन्नात की मदद से जादू करते हैं, चीजें इधर से उधर पहुंचाते हैं, तो वो लोग ऑलरेडी ईरान।
okay. Now you can see. Well, we would like to have a 10 minutes, mostly 10 minutes to say. Well. Now, here we can see that as an Iranian websites, what is inheritance? Well, as Almas said, here the ancient magic, that means Kabbalah magic, Kabbalah black magic, have been back in the present time, in the calendar of 2025. And in the point that and Almas Jacobs, we claim that Iranians captured some incantation writers. Now, as an explanation of Almas Jacob, well, in incantation writers was the writer who can write the best black magic, I mean the Kabbalah black magic. What is the Kabbalah black magic and how Kabbalah black magic works and how can we tackle it? That is the explanation of Almas Jacob. I don't know that why Almas Jacob is so full. Well, now I can say that Almas Jacob is completely an idiot. Now, why I am saying that Almas Jacob as an idiot? Now here we can see. Well, now as an explanation of Almas Jacob, well, I have written the best. I have a knowledge of best black magic than Almas Jacob could understand. Well, could write a best black magical knowledge in my laptop with the level Almas Jacob religious person cannot understand. And now I want to show you that what is black magic. Well, and perhaps in our first life, I have shown several times the black magical knowledge. Now let's see, what is that? Well, that is, this black magic is nothing but the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu military technology accordance with the kinetic power equation of Albert Einstein. Okay? Well, Almas Jacob, well, now here as a roasting points topic, the category should be news and politics. But we don't know why, but somehow Almas Jacob wants to have an effort to convert the news and politics category into the category of comedy. Well, the topic is the conflict between Israel versus Iran. Well, and now here is the point. Well, kafala black magic. Well, that means accordance with Almas Jacob, the Iranian soldiers under Raja Pahlavi could have a Kabbalah black magic because in the reality is that Iranian soldiers under Raja Pahlavi could measurement what would be our military vehicle kinetic power when we have a foreign country as our national security threat. Well, we can measure it. We can measure our kinetic power properly. Well, when our timing would be when the foreign country is a national security threat for our countries, when our timing would be only 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours or something, and the foreign countries to be our national security threat is actually our neighbor countries. Okay. Then we can see well then we can see that here is some points we can write. Well, as our technology, well, we can measure kinetic power accordance with the equation of kinetic energy discovered by Sir Isaac Newton, the first greatest scientist of England in the world. Well, but now, if there is a circumstance that, well, the foreign country to be our Iranian national security threat can be our neighbor country Afghanistan or Pakistan or Iraq or the non-kafir country, that means Israel, Germany, England and United States of America. And here is the point that and our timing is 52 milliseconds. Well, here to measurement our kinetic power, here we can implement the equation of kinetic energy invented by the German Jewish scientist Albert Einstein. Well, accordance with Almas Jacob, well, you can see the accordance with Almas Jacob, civil and Ali Khomeini Iranian officials. Well, Albert Einstein was a black magic writer. Isaac Newton was black magic writer. Here is Almas Jacob explanations. Well, and now here is the problem, and that was that some supporters of Almas Jacob still believe that black magic is real. Well, Iranian military officials accept that black magic is real because they have a black magic warfare against Israel. Well, and now here we know that well, what was Iranian black magic? Well, Iranian black magic was the kinetic equation of kinetic power of military vehicles, well, invented by Sir Isaac Newton, the first greatest scientist of England in the world. Well, and what Israeli army applied the black magic? They applied the Kabbalah black magic. And what is Kabbalah black magic? The Kabbalah black magic was nothing but the measurement of kinetic power of Israeli military vehicles invented by Sir Albert Einstein, well, the greatest German scientist of the world. Well, and here is the points. And in the cases that, Iranian terrorist has been defeated. Well, that was black magic warfare accordance with Ali Khamenei and Almas Jacob. Well, if Almas Jacob is would be the knowledgeable person, I believe that Almas Jacob has no knowledge about the science and sociology. Well, here we can say that Albert and, well, here we can see when the kinetic energy equation of Albert Einstein has come. When the velocity has been 10% velocity of light. Well, that means when velocity has been 30,000 kilometers per second, we can apply Albert Einsteinian kinetic energy to measurement the kinetic power. Because the travel time is recorded 20 millisecond, 9 millisecond, 21 milliseconds. Here is the pulse. But when travel time is 2 hours, 3 hours or something like that, still then Isaac Newton kinetic energy equation can be applied to measurement of the kinetic power of military vehicle health. Well, here is the point is that, and well, as what is the timing of Almas Jacob video? The timing of Almas Jacob video is almost 5 minutes. Okay. Now from 2 minutes to 5 minutes, that means in 3 minutes we can say that. Well, here is the points when Almas Jacob said some nonsense about our our physics science. Here physics science has been involved. Well, it is the serious issue, but Almas Jacob, well, it was Almas Jacob that she found black magical warfare in the serious war. And well, now we know that there is some Indian YouTubers, the named channel name Real Eyes, Technical Sagar, etc. Nishan Abnejar. There is several Indian YouTubers exposing Illuminati and satanic rules. But still, in the conflict between Israel versus Iran, well, they they would say that there is physics science event, the crystal physics science event. Well, what is physics science event? Well, you can see that you can measure the kinetic power of military vehicles in the equation, either in the equation of kinetic energy by Isaac Newton or the equation of kinetic energy by Albert Einstein. But well, but now the Pakistani YouTuber Almas Jacob, who said clearly that it was a black magical warfare. Now, well, every Indian YouTuber contends I won the war between Israel versus Iran. They did not notice the black magic. Even Donald Trump was involved to support Israel, and in the short times in this Iran-Israel war, Pakistan short time support Israel. I mean, Pakistani military support Israel to stay against Iran. On the other hand, China and Russia was Statue of Liberty in the topic of Iran when the war is against Israel. Okay, and now, somehow we started to believe that Iran contains no nuclear power. Their nuclear technology after in the their nuclear every nuclear technology of Iranian Islamic regime is just look like an era of dinosaur. Well, here was the points. Well, in that point, Almas Jacob, you know that in the previous month, well, is June, the calendar 2025. Well, we have severely exposed Almas Jacob in the topic of mechanical arts and the metal ball flying on sky. And in metal of flying ball sky, here is we can see clearly that was an event of Isaac Newton gravitational events. But still, Almas Jacob called it a supernatural event or demonic event. And now, when there is a topic of Albert Einsteinian kinetic power measuramental events in as a warfare between Israel versus Iran. Almas Jacob called it black magic. Well, and the support and the illiterate supporters still support Almas Jacob, and perhaps this time, well, Almas Jacob is the educational bully for Sabbath Sharif, Nawaz Sharif, Mariam Sharif, Imran Khan, Asif Ali Zardari, Bilal Bhutto and Zardari, and Kamar Javed Bajwa, and the current Pakistani Field Marshal Asif Munir. Well, she is a national threat for it. We can tell it as now. Well, Almas Jacob addressed something black Kabbalah black magic, but the weird thing is the so-called Kabbalah black magic addressed by Almas Jacob is not actually nothing but physics of Albert Einstein. Okay, and now here we can see what is the next events we can see.
की फौज के अंदर हैं। एक चीज और दूसरी चीज ये है कि इसमें कोई शक की बात नहीं कि इसराइल भी जादू इस्तेमाल करता है, और ये अब से नहीं हो रहा है, ये कदीम जमाने से हो रहा है। अगर आप गौर करें तो हजरत
Okay, here are the points.
मूसा ने भी अपनी लाठी को सांप बना दिया था, और वहां पर मौजूद जो जादूगर थे उन्होंने भी अपनी अपनी लाठियों को सांप बना दिया था। और हमें कलाम में पढ़ने को मिलता है कि हजरत मूसा ने जो लाठी को सांप बनाया था, उस सांप ने उन जादूगरों के सांपों को खा लिया था। तो यहाँ से हमें पता चलता है कि शुरू से हुक्मरान जो हैं वो जादूगरों से मदद लेते आए हैं। इवन के फिरौन के दरबार में हमेशा जादूगर हाजिर रहते थे। जादूगरों से मदद लेते आए हैं। इवन के फिरौन के दरबार में हमेशा जादूगर हाजिर रहते थे।
Now you can see that okay, now here we can see now as an explanation of black magic. Well, Almas Jacob claimed that Israeli black magic started on the times. Okay. Israeli black magic start on the times when there was Prophet Moses. I mean Prophet Musa. Well, and now Prophet Musa still a prince of Egypt, but he is the biological son of an Israeli community. Okay, now we can say in Israeli communities we can see the in Bibles we can say Prophet Musa can start on the points have a black magic on his sticks, and it become a snake. And every magician convert their stick into a snake, and Prophet Musa say snake eat all of all snake of every of all magicians. Well, Almas Jacob has a knowledge, this knowledge from the Christian Bible. It was the Christian Bible where, well, it was the Christian Bible when the topic was Prophet Musa. It does not mention that which Pharaoh era the event was happened. In which Pharaoh era? Well, as we can say, the educated and enlightened Egypt points, as we can say, they said there was no era in the times. No Pharaoh era contains the event of Prophet Musa according that was written is according in a Christian Bible. Okay. Now, here is the first fault of Christian Bibles. Now, that was a Christian Bible where Jesus Christ said that the poor people can be owner of the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven. That means kingdom of heaven is like a communist Russia or Cuba or Venezuela, because poor people is owner of these countries. Even poor people in China is owner of the China. Therefore, we can say China as a outer communist country. Well, China, some business policy is still capitalist just because of the puppet rich Chinese that was puppet under poor Chinese people. Okay, and now you can see that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu events that has happened is the points. Okay, and we can see here our we can see that Almas Jacob mentioned the black magic. Well, as the points. Okay, let's come for the Prophet Musa. Well, when Prophet Musa was going to Israel, in the point of Egypt, Prophet Musa community saw oceans in front of there, and when Prophet Musa apply his magic on stick, ocean has been split into two sides, and here was a road where every of Israeli communities reached to their land Israeli, and when Pharaoh was middle on the oceans, they have been seen and they have been died. They have they are they have been dead. It is written in the Christian Bibles. Okay, but the problem is that well, but here is the problem. Well, in Christian Bible that was Mediterranean oceans, and in Islamic Quran that is written in as a Red Sea. Okay, it does not matter in the points, but the real fact is that well, the pass route from we can calculate the pass route from Cairo to Suez Canal, and then we can calculate the pass route from Suez Canal to Tel Aviv. Well, in 1876, well, British British scientists or British government developed the Suez Canal in the place where is Suez Canal. Before 19th century, I mean before 18th century, I mean at the calendar of 1800, Suez Canal does not exist. That means actually there were no sea, or neither oceans exist in the in the walking travel from Cairo to Tel Aviv. And here is the point. It was that Bible. Okay. Well, Bible mentions seven greatest kingdom. What was the seven greatest kingdom? The seven greatest kingdom was Babylon Empire, New Babylonian Empire, Assyrian Empire, Roman Empire, Egypt Empire, well, and the points Persian Empire and the United States of America. But the Christian Bible mentions Sultanate of England, Sultanate of Spain, Empire of Portugal, well, Empire of German three times, well, the Empire of Communist Russia, well, Maurya Empire, Chinese Empire, Japanese Empire, and Italian Empire, two times, and the new Italian empires, well, Christian Bible did not mention. Okay, and here is the that was the Christian Bible, and according with Christian Bibles, Almas Jacob know that black magic exists as in real life. And what is the meme? Now see, let's see the what is the meme. Okay. Well, just 2 minutes. The meme was madness of multiverse, where Wanda Maximoff became the Scarlet Witch. That was the meme. Now let's see what is written.
प्रोजेक्ट स्टार गेट, जिसके बारे में मैं आपको पहले बता चुका हूँ कि CIA एक प्रोजेक्ट था जिसका नाम था स्टार गेट, जिसमें अमेरिकी मिलिट्री और CIA ने मिलकर एक प्रोग्राम चलाया था जिसको प्रोजेक्ट स्टार गेट कहा गया था, जो कि 1977 में ये प्रोजेक्ट किया गया था, जिसका मकसद ये था एक्सप्लोर द पोटेंशियल यूज ऑफ साइकिक फिनोमेना, पर्टिकुलरली रिमोट व्यूइंग फॉर इंटेलिजेंस गैदरिंग। यानी कि दुनिया के अंदर कौन कौन सी चीज कहाँ कहाँ पर है वो मालूम करने के लिए रिमोट व्यूइंग कहते हैं जी। आप एक जगह बैठे हुए हैं, आपने जिन से मदद ली और जिन ने आकर आपको बता दिया फलां जगह पर फलां चीज है। तो CIA और अमेरिका जो कि खुद को मसीही कहते हैं, आप नोट करें, वो भी इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। साइकिक जो है वो कौन है? ये उसी तरह के लोग हैं जैसे साउल एक जादूगरनी के पास गया था सैमुअल नबी की रूह को बुलाने के लिए, और ये जो साइकिक हैं ये बेसिकली वही काम करते हैं, एज ए मीडियम का काम करते हैं। ये जिन्नात को बुलाते हैं और फिर उनसे मदद लेते हैं, उनसे क्वेश्चन आंसर करते हैं, उनसे इंफॉर्मेशन लेते हैं, तो इनको साइकिक कहा जाता है। अब आप नोट करें कि CIA यानी कि अमेरिका, यानी कि जो खुद को क्रिश्चियंस कहते हैं, वो भी ये कर रहे हैं, जादूगरी का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। फिर अगर हम हिब्रू लोगों को देखें जो यहूदी हैं वो भी कर रहे हैं। और अगर हम इंडिया के अंदर देखें तो ये नींबू मिर्ची की गई थी, ये पूरी पूजा की गई थी, ये पूरा एक रिचुअल किया गया था, रफाइल के ऊपर जादूगरी की गई थी। बट क्या हुआ, रफाइल गिर गए। लेकिन आप नोट करें कि इंडिया के अंदर चाहे हिंदू हो वो
Okay. Now it is the serious issues we have to talk. Well, Almas Jacob blames United States of America and Israel and India in the cause of black magic. Well, now I think it is heads on my mind. Well, I'm feeling abusive in the points written in the videos. Well, 1977, United States of America and CIA jointly started an Operation Strategic. Well, here is the psychic phenomena and remote intelligence uses. Here's the points. Well, and now, well, what is 1977? Well, you can see who is psychic. Well, Almas Jacob has a wrong definitions about psychic. Well, psychic is not a magician. Psychic are psychological doctors. Psychic is the psychological doctors. Well, what is psychology? Here's the points. Psychology was that you know what is psychological power? Well, psychological warfare contains attack with as a surprise element. Here is every element attacking every attack is surprise element. Okay. For example that, well, war between France and Germany. Well, and here is a border between France and Germany. France has focused only on the border that was between France and Germany. And the German soldiers attacked France with the route of Italy, Mediterranean Sea and Spain, or the route of Denmark and Belgium. Well, perhaps there is a third route, that is Germany, Poland, Russia, Finland, Sweden, Norway, and then Belgium, and then France, attacking the France. Well, who knows that is it is a surprise attacks. Well, Almas Jacob forgot it. What is surprise attacks? Okay. And now, in the two life, we have mentioned that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu military technology contains a military vehicle with a velocity of 72% velocity of light that can be a surprise attack on Iran, because in there the travel time for Israel is 7.31 milliseconds. Well, with a blink of eye, you Iranians don't know that what would Israeli air fighter plane do on Tehran. And you could not be understand. That is the psychological phenomena. Well, and that is the operation statistics with the intelligence reports, remote intelligence reports. Well, in there, the asset of the United States handler can be Soviet Russians or Soviet Belarusians or Indians or something like that. Who knows? That can be North Koreans to be an asset of American agent. And here, that is the psychological espionage, and that is operation studies. Well, that could be a joke for us. And the Israeli black, as an Israeli black magic, we can say that that would be a joke for us. But now Almas Jacob has a joke on our Operation Sindoor, where the reason was terrorist attack on the Pahalgam, where 27 Hindus and 1 Muslim has been dead by Kashmiri terrorist the joint of Kashmiri terrorists and Pakistani terrorists in the head of religions. That was a religious terrorist. Well, and now here is that Almas Jacob has a joke on our Indian Rafale. Well, now here is my live locations, Germany, and the neighbor country of my live streaming locations is France. Well, according with Operation Sindoor, Almas Jacob has a joke on the Rafale that was made by France. Well, I have a 5 hours. I have 5 hours video in this channel. You can check it. Okay. What would I say? Well, now, well, perhaps the video was, well, perhaps the video was in Hindi. Well, if you understand only in Hindi, you can watch the videos. Now, I would be okay if the video was, if the topic was Israeli black magic versus Iranian black magic. But Almas Jacob jokes on our Operation Sindoor. Okay. Okay, just for 2 minutes. Oh my God. Now here, what can I do? Okay. Now let's see what is what is my. Well, now let's see what is my channels. Perhaps that was a Hindi video. Now let's talk my channels. Allah. Okay. Here is a video. Well, here is a video. We don't know. It is we are roasting Almas Jacob. And the topic was, well, and the topic was Kamran Masih. Okay. And now, well, if the Kamran Masih, well, in Operation Sindoor, well, Almas Jacob said that Rajan Singh contains a Hindu black magic on Rafale, but still Rafale has been destroyed. 5 Rafales has been destroyed by Kamran Masih. Masi, a Pakistani Christian pilot. Okay. Now let me see. Okay. Well, I have no mood. Well, you can see I have no moods for Kamran Masi. Well, I have no moods on the topic in this life to say how Almas Jacob's favorite Israel is actually Palestine. I have no mood to mention is that, but now this is the concern of Operation Sindoor. Okay. Well, and now here we can say what Operation Sindoor has been written. Well, it is just a 10 minutes video has been then live stream would be over. And I don't know what would happen in like that. Just let's have a 5 minutes to show you. Okay. In the top of Operation Sindoor, where Almas Jacob claimed that Pakistani, well, Almas Jacob claimed that Pakistani generals, who is Pakistan? Pakistani Christian pilot Kamran Masi destroyed 5 Rafales. Okay. Now, do you know who is the Pakistan? What Kamran Masi look like? Well, a Pakistani Christian pilot Kamran Masi has a photo where her headphone is like a customer call centers, and still she's an army officer. Well, Kamran Masi contains okay. Now we have a points. She's a Christian and she's a Pakistani Christian pilot to serve a Pakistani Air Force. Here's the points. Well, and now here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is 5 line of my video editing. Perhaps it took in 720 pixels. It took 12 hours. Still we can edit it. Even okay. Well, even Almas Jacob says that in Operation Sindoor, 70% light has been electricity has been cut, but still we have an editing segment of 12 hours, and now here we can have almost 3 hours 20 minutes of two live streaming. And here was a point in that, just 2 minutes. Well, here was a point that Almas Rafale fighter plane by Indian Air Force were 5 times better than F-16 in Pakistan Air Force. And nowadays, Pakistan Air Force using JF-17 Chinese fighter planes that was not capable than Rafale fighter planes. Well, Indian Air Force content at best pilots who can fly with the third class aeroplane properly. Well, here is every evidence that nothing is happening in Rafale plane, but in the airbase of Rafale plane, something distraction would be occurred. But Almas Jacob claimed repeatedly that Rafale plane has been destroyed. Well, now let's believe that Rafale plane can be destroyed, but the problem is, if my fighter plane can be destroyed, that is manufactured by me, well, can my share value be double? It is not possible. Moreover, my share value can be decreased. But here, my share value profits double. That means nothing is happening in Rafale fighter planes. Now, well, my health has been more illness than now. Well, life is in the topic, life is over. I would never have a live in the topic in 2 days. And after 2 days, perhaps the topic can be irrelevant. I don't know. Khuda Hafiz. Love you.